And the best iPhone color of 2018 goes to the blue 10R.
Wow.
Thank you so much, we appreciate it. And the best iPhone color of 2019 goes to the midnight green 11 Pro.
Wow.
Can't believe we wanted to get. Thank you so much. Thank you. And the best iPhone color for 2020 goes to the black iPhone 12. Yes, we worked hard on that one.
Wow.
And the best iPhone color of 2021 goes to the product red iPhone 13. Wow, yes. And this one supports a charity, so we're very proud that product red is the winner this year. Okay, and I guess the best iPhone color of 2022 goes to space black. Yes, that one used a lot of ink. We're not gonna make that mistake again. Hey, good morning! So, which award are we winning this year? What? You didn't like any of the good iPhone 15 colors? I'm not giving you this. Oh, come on! We had blue and titanium and natural titanium. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm sick of you. This is enough.
Wow.
Really mature, Gary. Fine. We'll try to up the ink cartridges next year. We're officially in the final countdown for iPhone 16 season, because just next month, yes, this is the earliest possible time I could use that phrase and be correct, there will be no more iPhone 16 leaks and rumors. It will just be official announcements. In case you're wondering how much longer we have until all of these things are officially confirmed by Apple, typically there's a few exceptions, but most of the time iPhone events are on the second Tuesday of September, which means no, not September 3rd. This year that falls on September 10th, and typically the invites go out about a week before, so around September 3rd is when Apple will invite everyone to this virtual event. But if you're on Tim Cook's nice list, you'll get to show up at the event itself and record all the fancy B-roll of these gorgeous new colors that apparently Sonny Dickinson has access to. I don't know how. And usually there's a lot of last-second color changes when it comes to iPhone leak culture, so take everything, of course, today with a grain of salt. But in my opinion, while they're definitely not as faded and as bland as the iPhone 15 lineup, they're certainly not my favorite as a guy who kind of loved the old bright 10R blue, or of course, very vibrant and rich, perfect product red iPhone 13. All of these just look like C-tier colors to me. I think I understand why 90% of buyers are probably going to go with the old black or white at the end of the day, but I'm really hoping this part of the report ends up not being correct, because I'm just not feeling it. But aside from that, they're also experimenting with a new bronze color for the Pros apparently, but definitely still going to be made out of titanium, so I don't think they can go too dark or too vibrant with the Pros, unfortunately. They're missing out on the Ariana Grande crowd by leaving all of the fun and exciting colors for the cheap iPhones. But aside from new color options, just as a reminder to everybody as to what to expect, by far the most disappointing thing that the tech community is not going to let down is the fact that the regular iPhone 16 and 16 Plus should still be starting at 128 gigabytes. Also, both are probably going to be around the same price. Yeah, both of them are still going to be rocking 60 Hz displays. That sounds fairly likely at this point. I don't think there would be any last-minute display supplier change-ups. Ross Young has reported on this in the past as well, so it's looking fairly likely. Again, I don't use the term confirmed until Apple announces something. Unlike most of tech YouTube, I'm probably leaving free money on the table, but it's my stupid ethics that get in the way of that, so I'm not trying to say confirmed, but it is pretty darn likely that we're gonna have 60 Hz $900 iPhones this year. Ouch! Right through the heart. Of course, if that bothers you a ton, the good news is the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, yes, they'll still be rocking 120 Hz and on larger displays than previously before. So if you're looking for a headlining new flashy feature for the 16 Pros this year, well, guess what? Apple is technically making the largest display on an iPhone ever. Expect them to use that terminology on the website and the keynote. So the smaller 16 Pro is going to be 6.3 inches, which I'm not too excited by because I was hoping iPhones could get smaller, not bigger. But if you wanted iPhones to get bigger, you're in luck, because the 16 Pro Max, that is also making the jump to 6.9 inches. Nearly 7 inches of buttery smooth OLED iOS goodness. And aside from that, the bigger feature that the Pros are supposed to be gaining this year is a solid state capture button, kind of where the ultra wideband antenna sits right now, and we don't know exactly of how the iOS software is going to implement this feature, but the rumors are that similar to the Force Stem on AirPods, it's supposed to allow you to zoom in, kind of like an old-fashioned camcorder or point-and-shoot camera. So you can zoom in left and right without actually touching the display, or press down a little bit for it to focus and then press down harder for it to actually take the photo or start recording. I'm sure Apple's prototyped all kinds of different ways to make it more intuitive, but as iPhones are becoming more and more cameras each year, I guess they're trying to develop more hardware so that we could have yet another way to launch the camera from the lock screen, because 3 options wasn't enough. But don't worry, if you want a camera button on the regular iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, they're supposed to be gaining the action button this year. So the official death of the ringer switch for the iPhone lineup, and because AI is the latest trend, they're also supposed to be bringing Apple Intelligence features to the non-Pro iPhones, which makes sense. It's still kind of outrageous to me that you'd need a 15 Pro in order to access like proofread or a new focus mode that's just about prioritizing notifications, and that's going to be thanks in part to them upping the RAM on the entry-level iPhone 16 series to 8 gigs, along with them also bringing back the old tradition of bringing the latest silicon to even the cheaper iPhones. So the 16 and 16 Plus should be rocking the A18 chip, whereas the A18 Pro chip will, of course, be reserved for the pros. What are its advantages? I don't know, maybe slightly more GPU cores, maybe slightly more RAM, but again, probably techie, geeky things that won't make a big difference in day-to-day usage. Everything we've seen with Apple Intelligence advertised in iOS 18 should be available on the regular iPhone 16 and 16 Plus. Aside from that, there hasn't been much talk about price hikes, so I would expect all the iPhones to pretty much cost the same as the outgoing model that they're replacing in the iPhone 15 lineup. Maybe if we're lucky, Apple will just decide to throw in 256 gigs for the base model 16 Pro, because come on, Apple, it's physically bigger, so that means there's more room for NANDs, right? I'm sure there will be camera upgrades across the board, some software, some hardware, you know, slightly better low light performance, and it wouldn't be an iPhone event without the slide where they just say, thanks to this new neural engine, we take a bunch of pictures all at once and then combine the best ones together. They do it every year, and we all go gaga for it. Battery life, for the most part, is supposed to be a little bit better because of the A18 chip being more efficient. Also, the physical capacities, aside from the Plus for some reason, are supposed to all be higher than they were before, especially the Pros, because they're physically getting bigger, so they should be able to last longer. But some little wild cards that we still don't know much about are whether or not Apple's going to be upping the transfer speed of the USB-C port across the lineup. I really think they should at least give USB 3.0 speeds to the entry-level iPhones, because that's such a standard thing in the Android community. We know it doesn't cost them all that much more. They put it in the $600 iPad Airs. And also, if Apple has some kind of Apple DeX support up their sleeve, that would be really cool if they could up the USB-C ports on the Pros to Thunderbolt speeds, which really serve no point for just moving files back and forth. Thunderbolt really only comes into play if you want to have true external monitor support, which maybe they don't have fully fledged Mac OS coming to the iPhone, but they could theoretically put like iPadOS Stage Manager, and then you could dock your iPhone to an external display, connect a keyboard and mouse to it, or let the iPhone become a trackpad, and boom, now you could have like an enhanced iOS experience with the big screen. I don't know, I'm grasping at straws here, but as the iPhone is now becoming our webcam and the chips on it are getting so powerful, the A18 Pro is probably going to outperform the M1 chip, which is already capable of running macOS pretty smoothly today. I'm hoping Apple has some more software tricks up their sleeve than what's been rumored, because I'm getting tired of just slightly more megapixels, which I'm sure will result in more camera tests that everybody does, where we all have to zoom in and go, I can read the lettering of that street sign slightly better than before. I must buy another $1,200 product. It's the only way forward. What are you guys most hoping for in the lineup? There's not supposed to be any changes to the dynamic island, I'm afraid, so if you were hoping for that to go away, doesn't sound like it's going to, but feel free to drop your hopes and predictions down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you all in the next one.